Good morning everyone. Today we are going to study the chapter number 14, that is water. So in this chapter we are going to study about why water is important to us and why do we need water. Secondly, we will study about the various sources of water, from where we are getting the water and how much percentage water is there on our earth. Third, we will study about the water cycle. We all have studied in the previous classes also about the water cycle. We will study about that in more detail. And then we will study about floods, droughts, how we can conserve the water. Okay. So now, the very first topic and the most important question is, why is water necessary? See, we need water for many purposes. If I talk about our daily life, you all are also using water. Like you all are drinking the water, you all are washing the utensils, clothes at your home, you all are taking bath daily in the morning. So you need water for a daily life routine also. But we also need water in the huge industries also. Like if there is any industry which is making any product, they also need water for that. Okay. And we all have studied earlier also that water is very important for plants also, because plants are making their food with the help of which process? Photosynthesis. And one of the essential component that is needed by the plants for photosynthesis is water. Okay. So then only they are able to make the food for themselves. So for the growth of the plants also we need water. Secondly, if I talk about the climate, we all often see rainfall is there, hailstorms are there is snowfall also. These all are also water. Okay, so water is needed for them also. Water is also needed by the aquatic life. Like if I talk about rivers, oceans, there are animals and plants which are living under the water also. So we all know that fishes and many other water organisms are able to breathe under the water. Why? Because oxygen is dissolved in that water. Okay, we all have heard about hydropower electricity, big storage also, like electricity is also being generated with the help of water. So water, if I talk about, it is related to everywhere and everything in our life. Okay, now the next topic is sources of water. On our earth, there is 97% water is there, which is salt water, and salt water is mostly present in our oceans. Okay, and out of that, if I talk about 97% are your ocean water, then the left one is 3%. 3% is only the fresh water. And out of that also, if I talk about ice caps and glaciers, because they are not accessible to us, we are not using the ice caps or the glacier water, that contains 79%. But if I talk about the accessible water, that is only 1%. Okay, and groundwater is also there, that is under our ground, like water table is there. And we can use this water, but it is not easily accessible to us. The water which is present in our lakes, small ponds, which is easily accessible to us, is only 1%. And that also, out of that 1% also, 52% is your lakes. And we all know we also have little bit of water inside our body. So that water is also having 1% in all the living organisms, whether it's plant, animals or humans. And rivers are also having 1%. Water vapor is also present in our environment. Okay, that is 8%. And last are your soil moisture. We all know that we are giving water to the plants, and there are soil there, and there is a lot of soil in our crop fields, our farmhouses. So that water which is present in your soil is also 38%. So now we have seen that how the water is distributed among the various categories in our environment. Okay, like your oceans, rivers, lakes, groundwater. So like this, the whole sequence is there that is present in our environment. So now the next topic for today is water cycle. See, there is the arrangement and the cycle of water that is happening in our environment. We call it as water cycle. Okay, now the first process today that we will study is evaporation. We have studied earlier also that the process of conversion of water into water vapor is called evaporation. Now, in water cycle, it also plays a very important role, as we all know that on our earth there are lakes, rivers, ocean, ponds where the water surface is there. But if I talk about the sunlight, we all know that there is sun and that is giving us the sunlight, and sunlight gives us the heat. So what is happening? The water sources like your lakes, oceans and ponds, the water, because of the heat of the sunlight, that water is being converted into water vapors, and we all know that water vapors are very light. So because of their light weight, they go up in the sky. And when they go up in the sky, because the temperature of the sky is very cold, so what happens? The water vapors, when they reach to the sky, they convert into water droplets. The process of conversion of water vapors into water droplets due to the cool temperature, it is called condensation. So what is happening, that when the water droplets go into the sky, they gather together, and when they gather together, they form the clouds. And because when the clouds are not able to hold the water, like clouds is like a bucket, so unless they are able to hold the water, it will remain there. But as soon as the bucket is filled with the water, they fall the water or whatever is there, and that falling off is called as precipitation. And precipitation can be in the form of water. We call it as rainfall. And if there are small hails, the temperature is cold, so we will have hailstorms. And when the water droplets are coming down, and because there are some layers of the atmosphere that are very cold, so sometimes they convert into snow also because of the cold temperature, so we see snowfall. Okay, this cycle continues forever, because it's from years and years, millions and thousands of years it has been continuing, and for the future also hopefully this will continue. Because see, water is there on our surface, we all need water. If I talk about evaporation only, so evaporation is also happening because if you know, we have studied about the another process, that is transpiration. What is transpiration? Transpiration is when we all humans sweat, and we sweat in the form of water. Like us, most plants also lose water because of the heat of the sun, and that losing of the water from the surface is called as transpiration. So that process is also adding the water vapors in our environment. See, from here, if there is lake, so what is happening? The water of the lake is being evaporated due to the sunlight, and that water vapor, because it is light, it goes into your sky and they form cloud. And clouds, when they are not able to hold the water, they basically gives you the precipitation, that is your rainfall, snowfall or hailstorm. Ultimately, after precipitation also, like your rain, they are coming to the land again, and they are again adding to the source of the water, and again this cycle continues. So this arrangement of the water in our environment is called as water cycle. Now water cycle is very important to us, because first, the rainfall is one of the most important and essential source of fresh water. Okay, so we are getting the water, and this oceans, ponds, they are charged up because of the rain. And if I talk about we all know that we need water for various purposes. So this whole cycle is helping us to provide that water. Okay. So water cycle, there are major 4 processes that are happening. First is evaporation, condensation, precipitation, and transpiration is also happening. Okay. Now the next topic is droughts. When there is no water or very less water, we call it as drought. Like if in any area the rainfall is very less or there is no rainfall, the condition that is caused is called as drought. And if I talk about the major areas or the states in our country, India, which are prone to drought are your Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan. So they are very prone to drought. And droughts not only happen due to the less or no rainfall, it can also happen due to the hot and dry winds which are blowing on the earth's surface, or due to excessive fires also. So see, if there is a drought in any area, there is no water, we all know that water is required. We have already studied about the various needs and necessaries of the water. So if there is no water, the plants will not able to grow. And we all know that plants is one of the major source of our food. So humans and animals will not have food to eat. So it can lead to the deaths of the humans, animals, plants will not be there. And we all know when the there is hot winds which are blowing, they take away the top layer of the soil, and that leads to soil erosion. You cannot even further grow the plants even if there is water because of the soil erosion. And it can also lead to various diseases also, and when the people are dying due to lack of water, food, we call it as famine also. The condition that is happening there is called as famine. And famine, ultimately the drought leads to loss of the humans, loss of the plants, loss of the animals, and drought doesn't happen in just one day. It's a process, it's a slow process, and if we do not control the droughts, then then the repercussions will be very high, and the people, animals, plants, the whole area will become barren, and everything there will be silent, and people are going to die, humans are going to die. So drought is one of the major disaster that can happen because of lack of water in any area. Now the next topic is floods. See, whenever any drainage system is not able to hold the water, the flood can happen. Basically, flood is due to excessive water in that particular area. Like in Assam, every year, most of the time we hear that there is flood. That is because of their drainage system is not able to hold the rainfall that is happening there. And floods can also lead to various waterborne diseases. Floods can happen due to the excessive water that is there in a particular area. Flood can also happen due to river overflow. For example, if there is a river in particular area and because of excessive rainfall, the river is overflowed. It is filled completely. The water is going to come out from that river, and the area around that particular river is going to be affected due to that flood. The people living there are also affected, the crops, the farms there, the property there, the animals, they are going to be affected due to that particular flood. Now, some areas are also having the dams. But when there is excessive rainfall due to excessive level of the water in that particular dam, that dam can also be broken. And as soon as we all know that dams are carrying so much water is there, so it can lead to flood. Okay, sometimes the clouds also burst, and like we have heard about the Kedarnath scenario, that sometimes that sudden flood is called as flash flood, because people are not expecting that flood to happen. Like in some areas, so people know that every year or every in 2 years, 3 years, flood can happen, like in your coastal areas. But flash floods are unexpected, so people, property and the animals there get more affected due to that flood. Okay. And if I talk about the major effects of the flood, that what that flood is going to do in our environment. First is the water in the area. If that area is filled with water, people are not able to transport from one place to another. Work life is hampered. Secondly, your phone lines, cable lines, network issues, that will also be there. There will be loss of financial losses also of the people. There can be many, we all know that if the water is stagnant for a long period of time, many disease causing agents can be grown there, so it can lead to various diseases also. Flood can also lead to the excessive water is also not good for your plants also. So excess of water can also harm the plants they are living. So those plants can also die because and get rotten because of excess of water. We humans also not able to live in that particular level of water. We will not even if I am drawn in that water, I am not able to breathe. So there will be no life of the plants, of the animals, of the humans. So flood is very harmful if we are not going to control it. Okay, so both drought as well as floods, if they are not able, we are not able to control them at an early stage, so they can be very disastrous to humans, to animals and to the whole environment.